Hello there, I'm Walter Lamar, a member of the Blackfeet Nation and Vice President of the Board of Directors for the American Indian Graduate Center. It's indeed an honor and a privilege to serve an organization that for 50 years has supported the educational pursuits of Native Americans. Over that period, $200 million have been awarded to support thousands of Native American students. Currently, the American Indian Graduate Center awards $15 million in scholarship awards annually. Our wonderful Executive Director, Angelique Albert, and the dedicated staff of the American Indian Graduate Center plan to celebrate the organization's 50th anniversary this past March with an incredible gala event. Well, of course, the event had to be postponed to protect all of those who planned to attend. For a planned auction at the event, I donated a photograph entitled Contrast. It's a 16 by 20 inch black and white printed on museum quality paper using archival ink. And I'll tell you a little bit more about that photo in just a minute. The auction was to raise much needed scholarship dollars. But now, with the coronavirus altering our lives, Native scholars have been negatively impacted in ways that we couldn't have even imagined. A student studying abroad in March was forced to leave the university when dorms were closed. With nowhere to stay, the student returned to the U.S. and home was with grandparents. Of course, staying with them would have posed significant risk to the elders. In March, an American Indian Graduate Center scholar tested positive for the COVID-19 virus. The scholar, in her final year of medical school, ended up being treated at the very hospital that she was scheduled to start her residency. A number of scholars have returned to their reservation homes when school transitioned to distance learning. One such scholar has to drive an hour each way just to get internet access, and many others needed internet access at home, their points of study. To serve the urgent need, the American Indian Graduate Center quickly developed and implemented the Student Emergency Fund Scholarship Program. The program has already paid for the hotel room for the international student I talked about while he stayed in a 14-day quarantine. Thankfully, the student's now safely home with the grandparents. The fund also provided assistance to the medical student to see her through recovery. She's now able to finish her degree and will soon be serving patients on the front line. The emergency fund is helping fund travel for that student driving 2 hours a day just to reach internet access, and is also providing funding to assist others as they bring the internet into their homes. Let's think a minute about those who have aged out of the foster care system. Once they're told to leave their dorms, oftentimes they have nowhere to go. The Student Emergency Fund Scholarship Program helped those I just talked about and so many more. But we need your support to continue serving this incredibly urgent need. Okay, let me tell you a little bit more about that photo Contrast. My dad, Newton Lamar, was a photographer for the Navajo Nation in the late 60s and early 70s. He shot with a Nikon camera, and upon release of the Nikkor 24mm in 1967, he excitedly rushed out and purchased it. Well, I have that same lens, and I had the lens machined so it fits my much newer Nikon. In March 2016, as the No Dakota Access Pipeline protesters converged on Washington, D.C., set lodges on the mall, and prepared to march the streets of D.C., protesting against the pipeline, I made my way down there. And late one evening, shooting through Dad's lens, it actually gives me the feeling of seeing things through his photographic eye. After setting my tripod and looking through the lens, I was sure this would be the shot that he would have chosen too. He loved lots of contrast. He loved contrast in his photos. The blacker the blacks, the whiter the whites, all the better. This photo represents an architectural contrast with the teepee set in front of the monolithic monument, and also represents the contrast that my dad so loved. The starburst of the lights comes from that much older model of lens, and I really love that effect. As the coronavirus continues to transmit across the country, the American Indian Graduate Center will do everything they can to ensure the success of Native scholars. So let's help out. I'm going to hold a Facebook auction featuring contrast starting today, and we'll take bids through noon May the 6th, which is next Wednesday. And if you're not on Facebook, you can just simply email me at blackfeetman@me.com with your bid. That's blackfeetman@me.com, and you can email me your bid, and then I'll keep you posted what the bidding looks like. Elsewise, go to the American Indian Graduate Center website and just simply donate. Let's do this.